So one of the main topics that I've been, seeing all over the place is about our assistant coach, Becky Hammon, right? So Becky Hammon has been in the running maybe for a few years now to get a head coaching interview. And then now she's maybe being taken a little bit more seriously um, as an actual candidate. We all seen the progression of Becky Hammon in San Antonio. I love what she's been able to do with this program. I think her and the Spurs were a match made in heaven. Her and this organization, she got the opportunity to just join the staff and show up to a practice or a training camp just to show up and learn. And then like the next year or two, whatever, she became a coach. So she's been kind of in this, obviously she played for the Silver Stars when they were around. I support any team, any notion of her joining its NBA team. And I think she would be a great coach. She's a great strategist. She's a great motivator. She knows the game. She's smart. Coaches around the league take her seriously. They know she's for real. By CBS Sports down here. It's written by Jack Maloney. So shout out to Jack Maloney, CBS Sports, like for the article, my man. Paragraph. She may be running a team herself in line to interview for vacant positions with the Portland Trailblazers, as well the Orlando Magic, according to Shams Sharana of The Athletic. Right. And then we also know about her and Boston, and the Boston Celtics are reportedly interested in acquiring Becky Hammon to become their head coach. So one thing I want to know right off the bat is, Spurs Nation, what do you think about this? Spurs Nation, do you feel like Becky Hammon, one, is ready to go ahead and become a head coach? How do you feel about that? And then two, so out of these teams this year, are there any out there that you would think is a good fit for Becky? Because I'm pretty sure that everyone out here in Spurs Nation wants to see Becky succeed. I think most of Spurs Nation wanted to see Becky take the reins here in San Antonio. Why is that ruled out of the equation? There was a lot of speculation at the end of the season that Pop might be done this year. I'm pretty sure most of Spurs Nation want Becky to take his seat if that happens, but I kind of have a feeling that that's not the case. I think Pop has a lot of coaching left in him, and I could be wrong. Again, that's just a gut feeling for me. But if he is, I wouldn't mind Becky Hammon stepping into that spot. Now, out of the other teams like Orlando, Portland, Boston, let's start with Boston. Boston, I don't really think it's the best fit. I'll tell you what, Boston is a great team, a great organization. Brad Stevens running the show would give her, I'm sure, all the support and encouragement and backing that she would need to be successful there as a coach, because they already have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and anyone, everybody wants to be a Celtic. Like if you're a free agent, they can put a team around Becky Hammon and what she wants to do as a coach for her to be successful there. Let's talk about Portland now. I would stay away from Portland. If I'm a coach that doesn't want to get in a hot seat, like whenever there's like a transition period for a team and they get a new coach and then like the best player leaves or whatever, now that coach is stuck with the job that he wasn't there for. The Houston coach, right? The Houston Rocket coach this past year, he was there all intentions to coach James Harden and Russell Westbrook at the beginning of the season. How much did that change, right? And how much was that on? I think everyone gave him a lot of credit for dealing with it, but you don't want to be that guy. You're going to be your first head coach opportunity. I think you want to be around a team that is in the right stage for you. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't rule out her taking this Orlando Magic job seriously. Looking at the Orlando Magic, saying they got a lot of young pieces, they have draft picks coming up. They are in a spot to rebuild and build something from the ground up, and that can be a great selling point to Becky Hammon from the Orlando Magic. I'm looking at Becky saying, "Hey Becky, you spent a lot of time in the G League. You spent a lot of time, right? Like Becky had a huge part in the development of all of our young guys. We got to understand that, Spurs Nation, that she has been hands-on. Derek White, DeJounte, Lonnie Walker, Keldon, Spoon. She is very familiar with the development side. I would say more than most, because every time a coach from San Antonio G League club, the Austin Spurs, gets an opportunity with Austin, it's not soon thereafter where they get like another assistant, a head assistant or head coach opportunity later down the line. Quinn Snyder, the coach from the Grizzlies, right? All these guys are former Austin G League coaches. They went there, they learned the culture, they learned what's up, and then they got the opportunity for themselves to go ahead and try to run that show themselves. And they've been successful at it, right? And we all know about the coaching tree for the Spurs and Pop. It would be just like that for for Becky. Orlando having Becky in the driver's seat of saying, "Hey, this is where we're going from here," and she's going to be involved from the ground up. I like that. I like that idea for Becky because she is a great motivator. She's coached the summer league a few times. Um, and she's climbed the ranks in the Spurs organization. I mean, so Pop trusts her. She's the first one off the bench to go talk to Pop about X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. Becky leaving San Antonio would be a little bit bittersweet because, I think most of Spurs Nation want her around for as long as we can and maybe even take the reins from Pop when the time comes. If you're a coach, it doesn't work this way. You can't just be like, okay, no, I'm going to wait for San Antonio to open up and for Greg Popovich to retire. But I wouldn't say that's the case, right? She's taking interviews. She's going to interview with some teams. So, I mean, good for Becky for taking the interviews. And I do hope she gets the job offer, you know what I mean, by one of these teams. I think Orlando's a great pick. If I was her, I would stay away from Portland. And Boston's interesting. Boston's interesting, and she would be going into a great situation, right? Brand new GM, a GM that really wants her, right? And like is looking to shake things up with her in play. And she would walk into a team that has a rising superstar, right? Orlando doesn't have that. They don't have a rising superstar. They got a lot of good young players. That's about it. Where's the best fit for Becky? You guys tell me. Is it in Boston? Is it in Portland? Is it in Orlando? Or is it in San Antonio? You guys let me know in the comments below. All right. I want to know what you guys think, what Spurs Nation's pulse on the whole matter is. So